Okay, we start off with the polar regions. The polar regions are places that are way up in the world or just about below, or what people call the north or the southern side of the world. And most of those regions are made of flat ice. That's a lot of snow. The animals that live in the polar regions are bears and penguins and many other animals that can live in the cold weather. Next are oceans. Oceans are made of a lot of water. So we have fish that live in the water. We also have jellyfish, and we have different other fish like the shark, baby shark. No, not that shark, but a very, very dangerous shark. They all live in the sea or in the ocean. Oceans are color blue because they reflect the sky most often times, and they have a lot of water. In the oceans, we have things that grow there. We also have plants that grow in the ocean, but we're not looking at the plants today. There are things that grow in the ocean that are called coral. Coral is the one that protects our land from the water flooding it from the sea, because coral forms what are called reefs, and the reefs protect the water from flowing from the sea into the land and flooding out. Now, can you show me what the fish are? Did you see the jellyfish? What about the shark? Now you see the coral? Very good. Let's keep moving on. Do you remember that we say that tigers live in the long, or rather the tall grass? Good. They are mostly in the jungles or in the forests, and they eat other animals in the forest. Good. Now, we also have parrots. Where do parrots live? Parrots also live in the jungles or in the forests, and they make their houses up on the trees, and the houses are called nests up on the trees. Let's look at the next one. It's deserts. Deserts are long expanses or big land that are made up of sand. And we have mountains and mountains and hills or valleys of sand. They're usually very dry and very hot. The sun is really hot in the deserts. So we do not have a lot of animals that live there or plants that grow there except in special places called oases. So in the deserts we find the camel, and the camel can be able to store a lot of water in its body and therefore be able to walk through the desert for long distances without getting very thirsty. So this habitat is called desert, and we find camels in the desert. We also sometimes could find goats, but in the more rocky places and up on the mountains or the hills. Okay, now that you know about the polar regions, the oceans, the jungle, the desert, now let's look at the mountains. Mountains are land masses that rise way up into the sky. Most of them are snow capped because it's very cold up on mountains, and so they have a lot of snow up in the mountains. And we will find some animals living up there in the mountains. In some mountains we could find the goats, like the goat that we call the ibex. It lives in the mountains, and many other animals are able to live around the mountain because there's a lot of green vegetation around most mountains. Great, those are the habitats that we were to study about today. I hope you have enjoyed your lesson and that you have learned something new today. Very good. So now we will go into our Supermind students books, and so please open page 78 and let's just look at what we have learned again.